Call is crazy, but this is the fourth largest industry of our country, the wedding industry. To give you some perspective, about $130 billion was spent on weddings in 2022. Now that is about one third of the entire GDP of Pakistan. So this is how big of an event wedding is in India. Now before we dive deep into this topic, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now the wedding industry is not one big industry, rather it's a combination of multiple industries coming together. What are these industries? So the wedding industry includes the food or the catering industry, the hotel industry, the travel industry, the finance industry, specifically when it comes to giving out loans and insurance, the jewelry industry, the apparel industry, the videography and the photography industry, and the list goes on and on and on. When we talk about the numbers, about 60,000 crore rupees worth of jewelry is bought every single year for weddings. This number is about 5,000 crore rupees for hotel rooms and about 10,000 crore rupees for apparels. And this is the only industry where Indians are willing to spend as much as 10 times of their annual income. Because for us, a wedding is not just about two people coming together and tying the knot. Rather, it is a once in a lifetime celebration, a memorable experience, and also a time to flaunt our wealth in front of the society. Even if we have to take a loan or sell a property to be able to have the money to spend on a wedding. And as I mentioned earlier, a wedding for Indians is not just about tying the knot or reading the vows. It is an experience that lasts a lifetime and is talked about for years and years to come. Also, an Indian wedding is not a 1 or 2 day event. Rather, it's a 3 to 7 day event which includes multiple pre-wedding and post-wedding celebrations or festivities like the haldi ceremony, the sangeet ceremony, the after party, the reception, and the main event, and many other events depending on which particular state or which particular Indian culture you're attending the wedding in. Different Indian cultures have different ceremonies and rituals that are followed and are celebrated, and that is what makes Indian weddings unique. Now let us talk about some numbers. So on an average, an Indian wedding costs somewhere between 20 lakh rupees to 2 crore rupees, or about $25,000 to $250,000. And I've also talked about the relevance of this number in this video here. You can watch this video by clicking the link in the description. And in just 23 days, between November 23rd to December 15th this year in 2023, about 3.5 million weddings were estimated to be held. And the wedding industry as a whole was expected to witness a flow of about 4.25 trillion rupees, or about $51 billion. And in comparison, this number was about 3.75 trillion rupees, or about $45 billion in 2022, around the same time. And while we are talking about an average Indian wedding, how can we forget to talk about the big fat Indian wedding? Now, what is the big fat Indian wedding? When we are talking about the big fat Indian wedding, we are specifically talking about the weddings of the ultra rich or the ultra wealthy families. These weddings are often planned out and executed by wedding planners who charge an exorbitant amount of money for their services. And why not? Every guest that attends a big fat Indian wedding is an esteemed individual with a high net worth. And when you're inviting the top 1% of guests to your wedding, you have to make sure that your wedding is top notch. Money is also of secondary importance in such weddings. Experience, a memorable experience, is much more important and is given top priority. And now we are also witnessing a transition in the type of weddings. When we are talking about these big fat Indian weddings, right now many of these weddings, although they are big in terms of spending, but they have a small number of people or guests attending the wedding. So these ultra rich or the ultra wealthy people, they still want to spend a lot of money on these weddings, but they want to invite less and less people, and they accommodate everyone else to the other events of the wedding. Not only that, but right now we are also witnessing an increase in the trend or the concept of destination weddings. So what is a destination wedding? In simple terms, a destination wedding is a wedding which takes place at a far off place, maybe in a different state or a different country altogether. Why are more and more people, specifically people with a lot of money or big pockets, so interested in having or attending a destination wedding? One of the major reasons as to why people want a destination wedding is because it gives them a sense of superior status. And when you're specifically talking about destination weddings, it enhances the status of Indians. And that is one of the major reasons as to why young people are more interested in having a destination wedding. And not only are these weddings taking place in a different state or city or country, but the couples or the families also select a grand venue for their weddings. For instance, one of the biggest Indian celebrities, Priyanka Chopra, when she got married, she chose Umaid Bhawan Palace, which is in Jodhpur, Rajasthan, as her destination wedding venue. Now, this is one of the most lavish palaces of India, and if you have to book just one room of this particular palace, you have to pay about $1,000 a night. Priyanka Chopra booked the entire palace of about 70 rooms for several days. Another example is of Isha Ambani and Anand Piramal's wedding. Their wedding celebrations were held in different places from Udaipur to Mumbai and Italy, and their wedding was a grand affair. About $86 million was spent on their wedding. There are countless examples of destination weddings of celebrities and high net worth individuals of India that will surprise and shock you at the same time. Surprise, why? Because Indian weddings have their own charm. Irrespective of how much money is being spent on these weddings, you will always find these weddings to have a sense of royalty. On the other hand, it is shocking, specifically for an outsider, because we are spending so much amount of money that it does not make sense for anyone else but us. Weddings in India have always been about celebration and creating lifetime of memories. However, weddings have become even more important in the last decade or so, and a major role is played by social media. Everyone is inspired by someone else's wedding ceremonies, and this is why young people, they do not want to stay out of it. They want to enjoy their lives. They want to have the most of their weddings, and this is why they plan out their wedding thoroughly. They want to have everything that the other person has, and this also comes with a sense of competition, because when it comes to weddings, many of us believe in the concept of YOLO, you only live once. Our parents and grandparents, they've always saved their money up for the weddings of their offsprings. Now, social media has played a huge role in selling a dream wedding to the younger generation, specifically the millennials and the Gen Z, be it making trendy reels for the gram or including festivities or events that would act as a cherry on the cake to make it a memorable experience. Now, we can talk about Indian weddings all day long and we would still not get bored. But the point is that Indian weddings are not a mere celebration of two people coming together and living the rest of their lives with each other. An Indian wedding is sold as a memorable experience, and I've talked about this countless times in this particular video. It is about status symbol for families and a celebration that is talked about and is remembered for decades to come, and which is why many Indians want their wedding or their family member's wedding to leave an indelible imprint of a lavish celebration on the guests that attend the wedding, and which is also a reason as to why many a times it also becomes a competition. But that is only human. We want to compete, we want to have that status, we want to be the best, we want to think that we are the best, and this is what constitutes the mindset behind Indian weddings. So what do you think about Indian weddings and the Indian wedding industry as a whole? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please share it with your friends and family, and please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching this video and have a great day.